How's it going, everybody? So we have a fun review today as we're talking Mufasa the Lion King. To be honest, I really was not that big a fan of the remake a couple years ago, the live action one. I just thought overall it was kind of a waste of time. Wasn't really sure if I was even going to cover this prequel, but they did hook me in once they did announce that Barry Jenkins was going to be directing this, because I am a big fan of Barry Jenkins. I mean, Moonlight, If Beale Street Could Talk, an unconventional pick for a prequel to The Lion King, but it did pique my interest enough to give it a chance. Mufasa, a cub lost and alone, meets a sympathetic lion named Taka, the heir to a royal bloodline. The chance meeting sets in motion an expansive journey of a group of misfits searching for their destiny. Despite the fact that I did go into Mufasa the Lion King fairly skeptical, and some of my skepticisms were proven to be correct, this prequel is much better than I ever anticipated it being heading into it. From a story standpoint, there is an intrigue built up around seeing the origin of Mufasa and Taka, aka Scar, across this adventure. The story all around does add a few new interesting layers to these iconic characters and contextualizes the bonds that they share and that inevitable fallout that we already know will come because, you know, going into this, we've seen The Lion King. We know exactly where this stuff concludes between Mufasa and Scar. What is fascinating, however, is how the film does explore the idea of destiny. Whether destiny truly is a thing or not, with Mufasa having been brought into this family, forming a brotherhood of sorts, only for things to go a more tragic route in the end. A big part of why I feel like this prequel somewhat works is the performances from both Aaron Pierce and Kelvin Harrison Jr. The two of them anchor this film so well as the younger versions of these characters. Aaron Pierre especially personifies a younger Mufasa who's still coming into his own. Of course, I already enjoyed Mufasa as a character heading into this, but he added some interesting new stuff, some new context to the character that made me like him a little bit more. And same goes for Taka, you know, Scar. You understand even further with hindsight why he feels the way he does in The Lion King, given what he has had to endure. There's more so of a sympathetic angle, I guess, now that we have the full idea of his backstory. For the most part, the majority of the cast here is fairly solid. I just felt like Kelvin Harrison Jr. and Aaron Pierce are the two major standouts here. I'd be remiss not to mention the fact that Beyonce's daughter, Blue Ivy Carter, voices Kiara in this, and she is pretty solid in this role. I wasn't expecting all that much because I didn't ever expect her to be an actress. Based on her performance here, I thought it was solid enough if she wants to continue becoming an actress. One major aspect of this prequel that also is vital to its success is the overall music. For the most part, I do think it'll be pretty divisive. It's almost kind of par for the course anytime Lin-Manuel Miranda is involved in creating the soundtrack for a project. I'm sort of in the middle as far as how I feel about the overall soundtrack for Mufasa the Lion King. There are a few songs that have a fun, infectious quality to them. I was genuinely surprised how good some of the singing was from some of these actors, but not all of the songs in the movie are all that great. Some of them don't really advance the story much whatsoever either. How you'll feel about the music in Mufasa the Lion King probably will depend on how you feel about Lin-Manuel Miranda in general. Like many people, I was one who heavily criticized the overall animation in The Lion King. I mean, sure, it was impressive that they managed to make it look as photoreal as possible, but all of that realism stripped away all of the emotion from the characters. Here in Mufasa the Lion King, it does feel like they understood, listened to some of those complaints, and tried to tweak things a little bit, because there are some improvements here. Visual effects continue to be stunning, with gorgeous landscapes of color and snowy mountains. The animals in general look much better and emote far better. Like, there's actual facial expressions tethered to these performances that we didn't really get to see all that much in the last one. Albeit it's nothing too crazy or anything, they still look like real animals, but it looks like they tried a little bit harder to make them have some expression. Much like in any prequel, this film also falls into many of the same pitfalls a lot of them do in trying to tie these origins together and build an engaging narrative. Essentially trying its hardest to justify it existing outside of just making a ton of money. The story attempts to create tension and drama that never hits that hard due to that predictability element. At the end of the day, you pretty much know exactly where this story is going to lead, so there's not like large stakes or anything. It's not helped out at all by the pacing not being great either. It does the film no favors between the story intersplicing between Timon and Pumbaa. They attempt to add levity and humor, but to me it kind of felt jarring cutting back to them. Personally, I don't feel like Mufasa the Lion King ever actually justifies its existence. I do think the third act does a pretty nice job bringing all the pieces together to lead into the Lion King. All in all, Mufasa the Lion King, while it is better than I expected the prequel to be, it is just fairly serviceable. Visually, it's stellar as to be expected with Disney. For those who felt like they needed to know more about the origin of Mufasa and Scar, and everything that led up to the events that transpired in The Lion King, there are definitely some moments here where the rise and fall of their brotherhood is somewhat compelling. I really do feel like your enjoyment of this will definitely hinge on the fact whether or not you liked the 2019 live-action remake. If you enjoyed that for what it was, I think you're going to enjoy this for what it was as well. I don't think it's going to really win too many people over. I think it's marginally better than the live-action remake, and that's coming from someone that didn't really enjoy that live-action remake whatsoever, so take that for what it's worth. But if you get a chance to check out Mufasa the Lion King, make sure you share your thoughts down below. What'd you think of the film? Did you like the film? Did you not like the film? Thank you guys. As always, check out the videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you like on the video and also subscribe to the channel so you update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.